little bit more running room. You know what I mean? I have like a little stand-up desk here, so then I got room, right? Because if I come this side, I start shifting. I'm kind of getting my guy over to his corner. Now I can start shifting, coming this way. You guys know what I'm talking about. Not everybody knows, but like boxers know. It's all about footwork. It's all about footwork. Laker fans. Ho, 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 ho. Damn. It's pretty impressive. The hell happened a couple of hours ago. I appreciate you guys tuning in. We got a lot that we're going to get into. We're not under any time constraints, anything like that. We just talk Lakers basketball. We'll go as long as we need to go. Lakers dominate against the Pelicans. Dominate. Like just a good old-fashioned ass-kicking did the Lakers do to the Pelicans. Sometimes you got to go 12 rounds in a boxing match. They basically knocked them out, I think, 38 seconds into the first round. That thing didn't last very long. I don't know how you guys felt coming into the game. I thought it was going to be a battle. I really did. I thought it was going to be a tough game. Pelicans had a lot to play for, but we're going to get into it. Okay, so here's what we're going to get into. We'll talk about the actual game. We'll talk about LeBron James. I want a lot of people, if there are people out there that are not a fan of LeBron James, I want you to write into the comments, Alan, I might not like LeBron James, but damn, is this dude unbelievable at what he's doing at 39. Take some time. Write that into the comments. Because if you don't put that in the comments, then you just truly hate watching greatness because the man is unbelievable doing that at age 39. We'll talk about the rest of the starting lineup for the Lakers. So it wasn't just Bron. I think what AD did, what D'Angelo Russell did, I'm going to spend some time on D'Lo. What Austin Reeves did, what Rui did, even minutes from Taurean Prince I thought were good. So we'll talk about the rest of that roster there. What this obviously does in the NBA standings, it locks the Lakers up at number 8. It makes it very interesting because now you got you got your playing game coming up on Tuesday against the Pelicans. Lakers actually don't travel anywhere for this upcoming game. And it's a little interesting to see who's sitting there waiting for the Lakers if they win on Tuesday. And I'm sure that's going to be a big part of the conversation of Laker fans. Some are going to say, hey, forget Tuesday. Avoid the Denver Nuggets at all costs. Others are going to say, go right through, do what you have to do, and don't piss off those basketball gods. So we're going to do all that. Plus, there's a little bit of, now we know what's going on with the rest of the NBA. We know what's going on with the rest of the league, what the rest of the standings look like. So we're going to do that as well. First thing I want to do, too. 82-game grind. We've been hanging out all season. Get that in there. Just want to share a brewski with you guys. Little Coronado Brewing here. Cheers to 82 regular season games. Got a long way to go. See what happens as we continue to move forward. But cheers to everybody who's been hanging out on the channel. Okay, let's get right into it. I say let's get right into it after I talk for 20 minutes. Okay, so here was my thoughts coming into the game. And then basically by the time the first quarter was done, I already knew what the result was going to be for the game. Coming into this game tonight or this afternoon, I really did think it was going to be a dogfight. I'm doing the pregame show with Michael. We're talking a little bit about it. And just seeing how lackadaisical Lakers were on Friday, I'm like, maybe they don't even care about the seeding. I don't know. They almost lost to the Memphis Grizzlies. And knowing that the Pelicans needed to win because they needed to lock up the number 6 spot and obviously get themselves out of a position so they didn't have to worry about the playing tournament. I'm like, we got a dogfight on our hands. If you think that the Pelicans are walking into this game without every ounce of their body wanting to win, needing to win, avoiding the playing tournament, hurting the Lakers, Anthony Davis coming back to New Orleans, I think all that was in play. And like I said, they got something to play for. Phoenix was going to be in Minnesota. And how about that? Phoenix avoids the playing tournament. I thought we had a real fight in store for the Lake Show. Once the game started and Lakers went up, I want to say, let me look here real quick. I want to make sure I got the scores right. But I want to say, just to start off the game, it was like 11-4, something along those lines. See if I could see it here. 11-4 is how they started. 13-4. What was the biggest lead there in the beginning? Basically, within the first 4 or 5 minutes of the game, you knew Lakers were here. It was one of those games for the Lakers. They were coming to win. They were coming to set a tone. They were coming to make sure that the Pelicans were going to at least feel the pressure. Now, that doesn't mean I've seen the Lakers, and I think this is what makes this team interesting. There's times they'll come out swinging, but if you just counterpunch and you hang around for a quarter, 2 quarters, that doesn't mean I think sometimes the Lakers, they want to see teams fold. Not every team folds. The Pelicans folded up shop this afternoon like I've never seen. I mean, I've been watching the Pelicans for all these games because all these games were important. They had at Phoenix. They won that game. They had at Sacramento, at Golden State. Those are 3 of their last 4 games. They won them all on the road, and they were a completely different team. Friday night in San Francisco, they punked the Golden State Warriors on their home floor. They did the same thing to the Sacramento Kings. So I thought in my mind, I thought this was going to be a Pelicans team that's ready to go. And as the game started, it was like 2 different weight classes. One squad was a heavyweight. The other side was a middleweight at best. It really did feel like the Lakers were bigger. They were stronger. They were more prepared. There was zero discomfort. There was zero, it's a word I'm looking for, fear. New Orleans looked like somebody just hit them with an uppercut, and they had no idea what to do. They were dazed for the first 24 minutes of the game. And it didn't take very long. So by the time the first quarter is done, Lakers are up 6. By the time you get to halftime, they're up 17. I think at one point, what's the biggest lead? The Lakers get it up to 30 or 29, something along those lines. They got it up to 32. Do you know how many times, for how long the Pelicans had the lead in this game? Not a second. The Pelicans never had a lead in this game. So Lakers jumped out. I don't think New Orleans knew what the heck to do. Willie Green, Zion, Brandon Ingram, everybody, CJ McCollum, all these guys looked confused, and they had no answer for the Lakers. And to be honest with you, I don't know if there was any team that you could put on the other side today that was going to have that much more success than the Pelicans. The Lakers were just that good. There was a portion of the broadcast, Stu Lance was mentioning it. He said something similar to that Lakers are playing so good right now, it doesn't have to be the Pelicans. This is almost flawless basketball, and he was talking about the beginning of the game. So right out the gate, I think the Lakers, they set a tone. They were all business. I thought the way they guarded, kind of a genius move, and I don't think we're going to see much of this coming up on Tuesday, but putting Braun and Zion together, putting Braun on Zion, I really liked. Basically, you're allowing Anthony Davis to just kind of roam the floor. Valanciunas was a complete non-factor. Then they tried putting in Larry Nance Jr. Yeah, but those 2 guys are not players that Anthony Davis has to worry about on offense. So AD just got to roam, play free safety. Zion had nowhere to go. The guards, all the Laker guards did, including Rui Hachimura, is force guys to try to drive. I mean, it was literally one team playing chess versus another team playing checkers. So just to give the Lakers credit, and before I even get into the actual game and individual players, Lakers set a tone really, really early that I think just dictated. I don't think it was hard to kind of figure out that, I don't think the Pelicans got a shot in this game. Tuesday is going to be a different game, but at least in this game, for those 24 or for those 48 minutes, New Orleans had no shot at all. And like I said, a lot of that just had to do with how the Lakers came out in this game. Okay, so a couple other things I want to mention here. LeBron had 13 assists in the first half. You know what I thought was cool about Bron's game today? A couple things really stood out to me. The 13 dimes of that says a couple things. Number one, his guys were hitting, right? He was finding Anthony Davis when he needed to. When he set up Austin Reeves, Reeves would deliver. When he set up D'Angelo Russell would deliver. Taurean Prince, Rui Hachimura, whoever was in the game. That's what 13 assists in a first half means. But I like what Bron was saying post-game. Bron was talking about this. He said that there was a part of him, none of it was scripted. I was going to come out and just how the game went. Bron didn't come out and say, okay, I got to take 10 shots in the first quarter. Bron didn't come out. And listen, if those guys aren't hitting their shots, Bron's probably going to start taking shots. That's what Bron will do. He's obviously trying to win a game, and there's no messing around in a game like this. You could fall to number 10 if they had lost this game. I thought Bron setting the tone to start the game. I thought Bron facilitating to start the game. Look, he's going to eventually get his shots up. He still ended up taking 20 shots. That's the most of any Laker that was out there today. But to have 13 assists in the first half is ridiculous. Look at the stat line. And I know I got it up here on in front of everybody. 28 points, 17 assists, 11 rebounds, and 5 steals for LeBron. 11 of 20 from the field, 6 of 6 from the free throw line, completely under control the entire time. The Pelicans have no answer for him. And here he is, 39 years old, about to enter, potentially to enter the playoffs again, his 21st season. Those are bonkers numbers. Those are ridiculous numbers. And this is not, I know some people will say, oh, okay, well, he can have the numbers, but that doesn't mean it affected the game. Or you could get the stats, but it doesn't mean that it was, it influenced the game. LeBron's fingerprints was all over this game. The entire game, his fingerprints were all over the game from the start of the game to the end. I don't know what happened in the locker room, but I guarantee you before this game started, I'm sure Bron is having that pep talk of what they got to be, what they got to do, that this is game 82. That, you know what, maybe some of those other teams screwed up and they're giving us a chance to go get that number 8 seed, and we're going to come get it. But I'm not even when I look at Bron, and I'm not one that I never followed LeBron James. I never really cared. I liked him when he was with the Cavs, and I was rooting for him to get that championship against the Warriors. I wanted him to get a championship for Cleveland. But, okay, if he's not a Laker, he's not a Laker. It's all good. His time with the Lakers, been great seasons. There have been bad seasons. Been times where Lakers won a championship. There have been times where the Lakers went 33-49. What he's doing right now at this stage of his career and what he did in a freaking playing game, I mean, the stats are stupid. Guys, he's 39. You know who should be having stats like that? That should be Jokic. That should be Joel Embiid. That should be Anthony Davis. That should be guys that are right in the heart of their prime. 28, 17, 11, and 5. Unbelievable. Ridiculous. I'm going to keep it moving here. I thought the starters, so Anthony Davis, he was incredible as always, 30 points, 11 rebounds. How about this dude only missed 4 shots? He took 17 shots. He only missed 4 of them. But put that to the side for a quick second because I think there's a bigger conversation for just the starters. So Anthony Davis did his thing. Awesome. Austin Reeves was cooking for a little while there, hit a few threes, kind of no hesitation. You could kind of tell, actually, there was a swagger to this Lakers team and a confidence to this Lakers team that I think should encourage you. Again, it's for one day. It's for one game, but it's the biggest game of the year, and the Lakers, certainly came through. So give all these guys credit. But for me, the player that I was most excited to see have a good day was D'Lo. I had mentioned this last postgame show we did against the Memphis Grizzlies on Friday. I had mentioned that if you go look at D'Lo and look at his numbers, he's just 10 of 38 for his last 3 games. He's been struggling from the field. That if he had another one of those games today, and I think we could all agree that the Lakers are a different team when D'Lo's got it going. The Lakers are a different team. They're a much better team and much more effective team when D'Lo's playing good ball. But I was talking about how, okay, well, if he has another bad game today, and let's say the Lakers lose, well, now there's going to start being some fingers pointed at D'Lo saying, the hell's going on with this guy? This guy's been good for 3 months. All of a sudden, these games really matter, and D'Lo's going to start fading away again. So I was excited for him to have a good game. He was kind of desperate to have a good game. I know the circumstances were weird these last 3 games. You had Memphis. You had a game against the Warriors without Anthony Davis. You had a game against the Timberwolves without LeBron, and then AD leaves after the first quarter. So I know it wasn't just normal, but I thought it was important for D'Lo to do what he did. Rui consistent, 11.7 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals. I mentioned Austin Reeves. Great to see him have an efficient day. 8 of 12 from the field, hit 3 threes, ended up with 20 points. I thought Taurean Prince, for all those that were frustrated at Taurean Prince because he started so many games, well, don't be frustrated, Taurean Prince. He didn't put himself in the starting lineup. But I think this is the perfect role for Taurean Prince. He now gets to come off the bench. He gets to play around probably, what do you want to call it, 20 minutes a game. And the one thing I'll give Taurean Prince a lot more credit for, there was a stage in the season for a long time where Taurean Prince basically refused to take anything other than a jump shot or a 3. I don't know who got in his head, but all of a sudden Taurean Prince now is trying to get to the basket. Taurean Prince is trying to make his life easier. I think defenses are getting thrown off that, wait a minute, I thought Taurean Prince just hangs out outside. He shot 6 shots today. He made 3 of them. And only one of those shots was a 3-point take, and he hit it. So 9 points for Taurean Prince. Dinwiddie in only 14 minutes. He ended up with 7 points. Just a complete team victory. Give the Lakers a lot of credit. Their defense was phenomenal, as good as defense as you could play. I think they were forcing guys to take tough threes. I think they were discouraging and really ripping the soul out of the – I say that joking around, but it felt like they were ripping the soul out of the Pelicans. Zion had no place to go. I actually didn't even look at their stats. Let me look here. Zion, 4 of 13, 12 points, 8 rebounds, 8 assists. What Ingram end up with? Ingram ended up 6 of 9, but only 13 points. He was on a little bit of a minutes restriction. Herb Jones ended up 6 of 13. CJ McCollum, 9 of 19. I mean, they dominated these dudes. Only 108 points for the Pelicans as well, so phenomenal there too. Okay, let's start looking at some of the comments here. By the way, I appreciate you guys hanging out. If you guys have yet to subscribe to the channel, please subscribe to the channel. Can I get a sip of my drink too? Can I kind of kick back and enjoy my drink as well? What do we got here? Blonde ale? All right, cheers to whatever you guys are drinking. If you're drinking. If you're not drinking, it's okay. It's okay. All right, I have not touched these comments. A lot of comments here. Somebody's already going Lakers-Celtics finals this year. After we beat New Orleans, one thing that I like is that we'll have fresh legs. Last year, the Lakers had to go through 2 rounds before they played Denver. This time is different. Play them better. Okay. All right. I'll get into that. Don't worry. We're going to get to that matchup coming up on Tuesday. Lakers and the Pelicans again. If the Lakers win, what it looks like. If the Lakers lose, what it looks like. So we'll get into all those scenarios as well. This team brought it today. Let's run it back. Pels. Go beat the Pelicans. Then I do believe you can definitely beat the Nuggets early in the playoffs. We'll talk about that. Probably a tall ask, but we'll see what the Lakers can do. Got some cheers here. I think other people drinking a beer as well with me. Might as well play Denver when you get the extra days off. Look at everybody. Everybody's already playing the Denver Nuggets. Can we finish tonight's post game, please? And then can we talk a little bit about the Pelicans game on Tuesday before we start already planning the Lakers and the Denver? Pelicans will come back strong, I'm sure. Yeah, you're not going to get that bad of a game from the Nuggets. I don't believe you're going to get that, from the Pelicans again. That doesn't mean that it can't lose to the Lakers. I just don't think it's going to be that bad of a game. That's as bad of a game as I have seen the Pelicans all year, and I don't watch the Pelicans often. Actually, you know what? No, in-season tournament. Remember the semifinal game? Lakers blew them out there too. So this could just also be a really, really, really bad matchup. Rui on the block was a beast. Rui quietly has been really good for the Lakers over the since March 1st, something like that. I remember there was a post-game show where Rui had a really good game, and something got brought up from Anthony Davis, and Anthony Davis said, "Yeah, we just told him to be aggressive. Like, you're too good of a player to not be that aggressive." And I think that message has, I'm sure they've given him the confidence too, like, go make it happen, go do what you do. Nobody's going to tell Rui that he took too many shots for a couple of reasons. Number one, he usually doesn't take that many shots. And number two, he's too efficient. The man is too efficient. Gabe Vincent is good on D. Don't need him to score much. You know, somebody had said something to me, or not somebody said something. I was listening to Braun one time. I think somebody had asked him a question about Gabe Vincent, and I loved his response. He said, he's a winner. That's it. Like, we just want winners on our team. He's a winner. That's why the Lakers obviously signed him in the offseason. So let's see what Gabe Vincent can keep doing. A lot of bring on Denvers. It's a good message here from Jeff. Jeff, I appreciate you being a part of the show. Iron Man Reeves played all 82 this year. I saw a tweet. I think it was Mike Trudell that put something out there that he played, remember, in FIFA as well. First off, Lakers get to the Western Conference Finals. Then he plays in FIFA. And then here he is, played all 82 games for the Lakers. So pretty impressive. By the way, you know what's just as impressive? Braun played over 70 games. Anthony Davis played over 75 games. I mean, that's incredible. Before the season started, if I'd have told Laker fans, hey, will you take Braun and Anthony Davis playing 60 games? Everyone would have signed up for it. Well, they were 70 plus. That's incredible. That's incredible for both of those players. By the way, just a quick heads up here, because I know this was the conversation. Anthony Davis, I'm going to read a quote. I had it. I already took it down. Nice job, Sliwa. All right. Fine. Anthony Davis said his back tightened up on a shove late in the fourth, but that he'd definitely be playing on Tuesday. This is from Trudell. It helps that Lakers don't have to travel as they stay here to play New Orleans. There was another one. Darvin Ham said he's extremely optimistic about the status of Anthony Davis moving forward and thinks it was a spasm. Will likely speak. Okay, so they ended up speaking to Anthony Davis. I don't think AD is going to be an issue. I don't think it's going to be an issue. It doesn't sound like from anybody that it is an issue. I know he left. Still 5 minutes left to go in the game, but I think that had more to do with because the Lakers were, obviously running circles around the Pelicans, so there was really no reason for him to be there. There was no reason for him to be playing those final 5 minutes. Precautionary, whatever you want to call it, but I don't think that's going to be an issue. Okay. I want to start getting into the next game. First I want to look at the rest of the NBA standings. So we obviously now the picture is clear as far as who's where, who's going to be playing who, and what it means if the Lakers win, what it means if the Lakers lose. So we're going to do all that here. But before we do, haven't done roll call in a while. So if you're out tuning in right now on the live stream and you want to put in the messages or in the comments where you're tuning from, city, state, country, feel free to do so as the show goes on. I will make sure to try to read off as many of those as I can. You know, I love doing what I love about roll call. I know I don't do it as often. Laker fans everywhere. They're everywhere. It's kind of cool to have, people listening, tuning in from so many different parts of the country and also different parts of the world. Okay. So here's where we are. This is how the day shook out today. And this is how everything kind of settled in the Western Conference. All right. We had some surprises. I thought this Lakers-Pelicans game was going to be a lot closer. It wasn't. Okay, so now we know Lakers are 8. Pelicans fall to 7. Why do Pelicans fall to 7? Because another game that was going on that affected the top of the standings in the West, and it affected the bottom of the standings in the Western Conference. The Suns went to Minnesota and blew them out. So the Phoenix Suns end up winning on the road in Sacramento on Friday, and then follow that up with a road win against the Minnesota Timberwolves. And because of that, that's why the Lakers now are in that 8th spot, taking on the Pelicans again. Lakers won't have to travel, so that game's going to be on Tuesday. So they're going to stay in New Orleans. But that was the kind of the shakeup here. And for the Lakers, I'm sure they knew there was going to be a lot of pressure on them to win this game because the Warriors handled their business, but they're still going to be in the number 10 spot. And then the Kings handled their business against the Blazers. They're going to be in the number 9 spot. So the way this looks right now, and it was a lot more difficult to figure this stuff out a little bit earlier, but the way it looks right now is the Lakers will have a game against the Pelicans coming up on Tuesday, a 4:30 tip-off. So we're going to have an early pregame show. I'll do that at 7:10 ESPN. But it's going to be an early tip-off. And the way the stage is set right now is pretty simple. Lakers, Pelicans, Kings, Warriors. Winner of the Lakers and the Pelicans, they got Denver coming up. Loser of the Lakers and the Pelicans will turn around and play a home game against the winner of the Sacramento Kings and the Golden State Warriors. So still a lot to figure out, still a lot going on, but that's what was clarified today, that it's not going to be the Minnesota Timberwolves in the number 2 spot. OKC is the number 1 team in the Western Conference. Give the Thunder a lot of credit. And I think there's a lot of people disrespecting the Oklahoma City Thunder. I think there's a lot of people saying to themselves, oh, no, we'll just lose so you could get the Oklahoma City Thunder. And I get it. I think there's some fair reasons of why people are thinking that way. But at the same time, that's the playoff picture. It's going to be Oklahoma City at the number 1 spot. They're waiting for whoever slots into the number 8 spot. And because Minnesota lost to the Phoenix Suns, Denver, who could have had the number 1 seed, ends up losing to the San Antonio Spurs on Friday, but they won today, now have the number 2 spot. So a little unfortunate for the Lakers, right? If Nuggets had beat the San Antonio Spurs, then they would be the number 1 seed. Lakers beat the Pelicans today. Lakers would be 1 Pelicans game away from catching that number 7 spot and then getting the Oklahoma City Thunder in the first round. But that's not how it worked out. So now the Lakers got to come back to work on Tuesday. Here's, I think, the big question now. Here's what I think the question that a lot of people are asking now. And this is, some of the scenarios that I mentioned. So if the Lakers win, if the Lakers lose. I got my radio show tomorrow on 710 ESPN. I got Lakers Talk tomorrow night on 710 ESPN. I got this post-game show that I'm doing right now. I guarantee you the topic over the next less than 48 hours, everyone's going to be talking about one thing. Hey, should the Lakers lose to the Pelicans on Tuesday? Should they lose to the Pelicans to avoid the Denver Nuggets? That's going to be the question. That's going to be the question everybody's going to be talking about. Now, it's very, very, very realistic seeing how the Lakers just completely took out the Pelicans in this one. And I don't think it's going to be the same Pelicans team that comes in on Tuesday. But it's very realistic that the Lakers beat the Pelicans and you get Denver again in the first round. I'll just give you guys my opinion of what I think of this whole situation. It is a drastic difference between one of the youngest teams, I think they're actually the youngest team in the NBA, the Oklahoma City Thunder, who really don't have any experience. And even some of those guys, like you could say, okay, Shea had some experience with the Clippers. Well, Shea doesn't have experience in the playoffs being the number 1 seed and a potential, one of the MVP candidates carrying his team in the playoffs. There are some holes with the Oklahoma City Thunder. I think that's a bad matchup against the Lakers. I do believe it is. I think the size, I think the length, I think the experience, I think the Lakers can bully them around. I don't think this is a good matchup for the Oklahoma City Thunder. I don't. So I understand what people are talking about of saying, hey, just go ahead and lose on Tuesday and then take your chances. You're going to have to win one game at home to get the Oklahoma City Thunder from there. I get the angle. I guess I'm just think about what you're asking the Lakers to do. You're asking the Lakers to lose a game on Tuesday that they could potentially win, then have to travel from New Orleans back to Los Angeles to get ready for another game that's win and you move on, lose, and your season's over against a Golden State Warrior team who went 3-1 against you this year, or a Sacramento Kings team that went 4-0 against you. Now, if you ask me, if the Lakers played the Kings in a 7-game set, I'm picking the Lakers because Malik Monk and Kevin Huerter aren't there, and I don't think they're the same team. If the Lakers were going to play the Warriors in a 7-game set, I'm picking the Lakers because I just don't think the Warriors can match up with the Lakers. Every time they've beat them, there have been interesting scenarios in these last 2 games where Anthony Davis either didn't play in a game or he was out for 3/4 of a game because he got hit in the eye. What was that, March 16th in mid-March? I think the Lakers are better than the Warriors, and I also think they're better than the Kings. But this isn't a seven-game playoff. This is a one game. You're either your season is done or you move on. And to kind of navigate all of those waters just to avoid the team that you're probably going to end up having to play down the road, if hypothetically, you're able to get through the path to play them again in the Western Conference Finals. A, that seems risky. B, I think I think karma's going to come back and bite you in the ass. And C, it is what it is. If you got the Denver Nuggets, then you got the Denver Nuggets. I mean, I get it. Denver's amazing. Denver's great. Jokic is the best player in the world. Jamal Murray's a perfect 2. You've lost 8 games in a row against them. I mean, are we supposed to whine and dodge the Denver Nuggets? Like, isn't this part of sports as well? Aren't you supposed to just, hey, if the chips lay the way they do, then you know what? Then it's the Denver Nuggets, and take your chances against the Denver Nuggets. Try to be better in these games. Try to be more clutch at the end of game situations. Try to be able to close out games better. Try to get just a little bit more from your role players and everybody else. So that was my long roundabout way of saying, what are we talking about not trying to win on Tuesday? Don't you just, if you win the game on Tuesday because you were the better team, isn't that what you're supposed to do? Aren't you? Lakers just completely manhandled the Pelicans for 48 minutes. You want to turn around and try to maneuver your way to lose to the Pelicans so you can go play again on, I don't even know which date that is, Thursday or Friday. I think it might be on Friday. So then you have to turn back around and play the Oklahoma City Thunder on Sunday if you win at crypto against one of those 2 teams. What are we doing? Why don't you just try to win on Tuesday? And then go get 4 days off, get ready to fly out to Denver, have some pride against a team that just has been the class of the NBA over the last year, roll up your sleeves and see what you can do against the defending champs. That's my view on it. It sounds like not just a lot of work to try to execute all of that. And maybe Laker fans are saying this, hey, listen, I want the Lakers to beat the Pelicans on Tuesday. But if the Pelicans just beat the Lakers in just a fair fight on Tuesday, hey, it's not the end of the world. You still got another game. Okay, that happens and that happens. But I'd rather that happen because it just happened naturally than anybody trying to dodge another team. That to me just does not sound like a good idea. When probably most people are like, no, that's the game plan. No, we want to dodge them. That's the game plan, Lew. All right, let me get to some of these comments here. All right, what are people saying? There's no better situation to revenge than to meet them early. A fresher Braun and AD would be huge. No way we should try to throw a game to try and avoid an opponent. We only have 2 shots at getting in, so take care of business on Tuesday, and let's duke it out with Denver. Curry, Fox get hot, and we're done. I almost feel like I wrote that with you. That's a phenomenal comment right there. If, by the way, I'm not telling you that this is what the Lakers are going to do. I'm just saying that I'm already getting people who are hitting me up on Twitter. This is going to be the conversation today, tomorrow, the morning show, the night show, like that. That's going to be the conversation. So that's all I'm trying to say. The message I'm trying to say, I know that's how people are kind of thinking in their mind is, hey, is there a way to avoid the Denver Nuggets? If it naturally happened, cool. Like last year, the Lakers got fortunate. And I'll tell you how they got fortunate last year. First off, they had to go to overtime to beat the Minnesota Timberwolves in the playing game. Remember that 7-8 matchup? Who was all out last year? Rudy Gobert was out. Jaden McDaniels was out. Was Naz Reid out too? I think Naz Reid was out. Lakers needed overtime to beat Minnesota. Okay, kind of got a little lucky. Who did they match up with the first round? They got Memphis. They avoided the Denver Nuggets. They got a little lucky. John Morant wasn't healthy. Brandon Clark wasn't healthy. Steven Adams wasn't healthy. They got a little lucky. They got a matchup in the semifinals, the semi-Western Conference, against the Golden State Warriors, who they just pushed around because that's just the Lakers. It's a good matchup for the Lakers. Again, they got a little lucky. Sometimes things just go your way. I don't think you could just try to do that in competitive sports, obviously on purpose. Now, if the Pelicans just beat the Lakers, if they just on Tuesday came out and they beat the Lakers, it's a good competitive game, and Zion was the man, and Brandon Ingram was a lot better, and CJ McCollum was good, and the Lakers lost the 3-point battle, and it was back and forth the entire time. Okay, then it happens. You lost the game to the Pelicans. Now you're fighting for your life at crypto just to survive one more game. And then if you survive that game and it's OKC, then all right, then you kind of take your chances from there. Real championship, don't dodge bullets. It is what it is. All right, let's see what else we got here. We don't deserve to make the playoffs if we're afraid of any team, honestly. I think we match up. AD and Bron have to win their matchup against Jokic and simple. And Murray, simple. Okay. This is going to actually take me to my next conversation here because there is no need to talk about the Nuggets and there's no need to talk about the playoffs yet until you get to New Orleans. I guarantee you what we saw earlier today, Lakers and the Pelicans, I guarantee you that's not what we're going to see on Tuesday. It's not going to happen. The Pelicans have a much better blueprint of how the Lakers beat them. They're going to make their adjustments. They'll be smarter. I wouldn't be surprised if Valanciunas is pulled out of the starting lineup. I wouldn't be surprised if they try to go small with more shooters and just try to force – basically, who are you trying to force? You're trying to force either Anthony Davis to guard Zion, something along those lines, or AD to have to guard a shooter. Now, do they give up a lot on the offensive side? Of course they do, because now AD is going to have a mismatch, or Braun might be able to bully somebody depending on who Zion plays. But I'll tell you what they're not going to do on Tuesday. They're not going to play the way they did. They're not going to play as bad the way they did. And their game plan is not going to be the same game plan that they had. So do the Lakers have a big advantage over the Pels? Absolutely. Will this game on Tuesday look exactly like it did today? I really, really don't think so. I do like the fact, I think this is going to be a little advantageous for the Lakers as well. I do like the idea that the Lakers get a chance. They don't have to travel anywhere. I was talking to Michael. So Michael Thompson, I told Michael, I was like, all right, so are you prepared? Did you bring enough stuff? And he's joking around. He's like, I brought one pair of socks, one pair of underwear, whatever. He's doing his thing. But he's basically saying, like, okay, if they stay in New Orleans, they stay in New Orleans. If they have to go to Phoenix, they'll go to Phoenix. Obviously, the team was prepared either way. They knew one thing. They're not going back to LA. So wherever you were going, you were going to you're gonna be on the road either way, and that's a position that the Lakers are in. But I do feel like the game coming up on Tuesday, I do feel like Pelicans will be ready. They will. They just got embarrassed at home. And if it happens again, if it's, and it doesn't have to be they're down 32 or whatever the case is like they were in this game today. But if they happen to lose again by 10 points, 12 points, well, that just shows you, they're not ready. They're not. And I'm sure for the Pelicans, then you're one game away of potentially being eliminated. And if they win and they get the Oklahoma City Thunder in the first round, then that might be just a much better matchup for them than having to play the Denver Nuggets. So I think it's kind of interesting the way it works out. And frankly, if you look at the playoffs right now, there are some monster first round matchups. Minnesota, Phoenix in the first round, that's a great matchup. Clippers and the Mavs in the first round, that's a great matchup. And if Lakers win on Tuesday, and it's Lakers Nuggets in the first round, oh my gosh. You got so many good teams, so many good players, and it's just the first round that's unbelievable. So we'll have to see how all that obviously shakes out. Okay, let me read off some of your comments here. All right. A little behind, guys. Little behind. A little behind, my people. I'm trying to catch up here. All right. Do you think AD will be as dominant as he was today on Tuesday? That might be the key to the seventh. To be honest with you, I thought the way the Lakers, or I thought why the Lakers won the game, just play defense. Like, I know we could look at Anthony Davis's stats and we could look at, okay, how many points did he have? How many this, that? They just were so, you could just see it in the faces of the Pelicans. They were so discouraged because they couldn't do what they wanted to do. Zion, I watched the game, Zion Pelicans Warriors game. Zion got to the basket anytime he wanted. Anytime he wanted. And the Warriors then are saying to themselves, okay, what the hell do we do? Either we're going to let Zion get to the basket and he's a walking bucket, or we're going to double Zion and somebody's going to be a threat to hit a three. Here's what the Lakers are able to throw at Zion, what makes this matchup so tough for the Pels, okay? LeBron has got great size to try to body up Zion. And then Rui is leaking in if you need help. Rui's a huge guy too. Then Anthony Davis is on the help side leaking in if you need some help. So to answer your question about Anthony Davis, offensively, I thought it was Austin Reeves and D'Angelo Russell and a little bit of Taurean Prince. And Rui. I thought because those guys had it going and they were a threat, I thought that was what kind of changed the whole scope of the game. All right, let me get a couple more of these here. Dodging the Nuggets is just a silver lining if we lose versus the Pelicans. I agree. AD is good. I know a lot. There's a few people on there asking about Anthony Davis. From what Darvin Ham was saying, he's going to be good to go. From what Anthony Davis said too, he's going to be good to go. So I'm not too worried about that. The only thing I will say, this is actually a good one here, just something to keep in mind. Thunder are listening to all the disrespect. They will have a chip on their shoulder if we face them. Can I tell you this? And I'm with you. Thunder are getting crazy disrespect. I mean, here's a squad, the youngest team in the NBA, and they found a way to win 57 games this year. That's incredible. Chet Holmgren's a rookie, didn't play last year, right? Jalen Williams, a complete baller as well. He may win most improved player Obviously, we know what Shea does. They got a lot of guys that are on that team. I don't think people are trying to disrespect them, and I think it is disrespectful because you don't win 57 games unless you got a squad. But I don't think they're trying to disrespect them. I think just nobody knows how they're going to react in the playoffs. Nobody does. And they're a bad matchup for the Lakers. Let me give you an example. I think if the Thunder face the Warriors in the first round or the Kings in the first round, I think the Thunder can beat them. Because those two teams are not depending on size. Those two teams aren't depending on – the Lakers just bring something to the table that's a bad look for a lot of these teams in the NBA. If they played the Pelicans, that would be a good series. But I just think the Thunder – yes, there's a lot of disrespect, but I think that disrespect more stems from the fact nobody's seen them in the playoffs yet. So I think it stems more from that. All right, I got to go back here real quick. All right, a couple shout outs to people who are tuning in right now. Illinois is in the house, New York in the house, Guyana in South America, thank you for tuning in. North Hollywood, appreciate you being a part of the show. New Zealand, thank you for being a part of the show. Canada in the house, Barbados, Nigeria, thank you very much for tuning in. Woodland Hills, Stony Hill, Jamaica. Badass, awesome. Look at this. Look where everybody's tuning in from. How great is this? DC, thank you for being a part of the show. Let's see what I got here. Georgia, thank you for being a part of the show. South Africa in the house. Maryland, Virginia, the Riverside. Rancho Mission Viejo, San Antonio in the house. Thank you for being a part of the show. Visalia, California. I hope I pronounced that right. Seattle, Camarillo, Orange County, Temple City. Appreciate you guys all hanging out here. Las Vegas, Hawaii in the house. Thank you very much. All right, we got a lot more people here tuning in, so I appreciate you guys all hanging out here. All right, let me get a couple more of these comments here. Inglewood, Taiwan, New Orleans. Get New Orleans even coming into the mix here. St. Kitts in the house. Thank you very much. Brazil, Glendale, Trinidad and Tobago, Boston, Utah. Jesus. Pennsylvania, Bahamas, Belgium, Marietta, Sri Lanka. I appreciate you guys. Thank you all for tuning in. Okay. Couple more. I got one or two more things, and then we're going to call it a night here. First off, and I know I mention it all the time, so I just want to give a shout out here to our partner, Underdog Fantasy, has been with the show the entire season. It's the first time I've ever brought a partner on my own personal YouTube channel, and I'm very appreciative of them. They are supporting the channel. If you guys enjoy playing daily fantasy sports, I've talked to you guys about this before, just how easy it is to play on Underdog Fantasy. All you got to do is download the app or go to the website, get a $100 first deposit match. So basically, if you sign up, you'll get up to $100 really comped. If you put in $50 into your into the site or into your account, they'll match that $50, so you have $100 there. Up to $100, they'll match it. It's fun to, I think, look at games. Let me use as an example. You got all these playing games coming up. You got the playoffs getting ready to start. You could pick other sports. It doesn't just have to be the NBA. And it certainly adds some elements to the game, even if it's not your team. But if it is your team, then make sure you please put in that code HoopsLA, supports the channel, and I greatly appreciate that. You knew it was coming. It's a matter of time, Laker fans. It's a matter of time. Speaking of odds, that's what I need. I need Underdog to put up odds of how often I'm going to sneeze here on these post-game shows. Right now, it's about once every 4 or 5 shows. All right. All right. Appreciate you guys all being a part of the show. Okay. I'm gonna end the show off with this, and I think this is a perfect way to do it. So it's a big win over the Pelicans. I was so incredibly impressed with how the Lakers played. I was so impressed with how they just kind of dominated the game from tip off all the way to the end. I was impressed how they demoralized a good Pelicans team that's been playing some good basketball. And all that really meant was you're still just in the play-in. So they got to go win a game to actually get a playoff set. And if it ends up being against the Denver Nuggets, cool. If it ends up being against the Oklahoma City Thunder, cool. Just make sure you win one of these next 2 games so that you at least get that opportunity. But very, very encouraging sign for, I think, Laker fans out there. Impressive game, impressive win. I appreciate you guys hanging out here for 50 minutes or so. I'll be back on tomorrow. I'll be doing the Travis and Slewa show in the morning. And I got Lakers Talk tomorrow night, so make sure you tune into that as well. And I think we'll be live streaming it as well here on YouTube. So thank you, Laker fans. I appreciate you guys hanging out. Lakers over the Pelicans. Next game, like I said, it's Tuesday at New Orleans, 4:30 tip. So we'll be doing this again after the game against the Pelicans tomorrow. Sammy will put up, or I'm sorry, on Tuesday. Sammy will also put up a preview video for the Lakers and the Pelicans coming up on Tuesday. So thank you for tuning in. Appreciate it. Cheers to all you guys. Good little win. And we'll keep it moving. Thanks, Laker fans.